What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and this is Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3 recap for the long night. Now, this is one of the most action-packed, most extensive battle episodes ever made for regular TV, but it's also very dark, so I tried to do this video a little different. I hope you all appreciate it. Now, when it starts off, it's got everybody manning the battle stations. It's showing troops, a lot of them getting up a little nervous. Some even tried to run away, and they weren't prepared. Then they showed all of our leading characters that we've all known to love getting ready and seeing them in the positions. You see the Hound, the big dog, making his way through. You see Sam, they told his little fat self to go and hang in the crypts, but he wanted to be a fighter, and so we see him waddle to the front lines ready to fight whatever he could. We see Jorah, we see Jon Snow's wolf and everything, so we see everybody was pretty much ready to fight, ready to do their part. Nobody wanted to be a coward in the biggest battle in the history known to man. The only thing is they weren't all prepared as much as they thought they were. And when they were all lined up, we see Melisandre come out of nowhere and she grabbed his sword, and next thing you know, she got it burning. Normally, if a woman grab your sword and then you burning, that's not a good thing. But in this case, it turned out to be all right. And next thing you know, all the Dothraki, as far as the eye could see, had their swords now on fire. So now their weapon was that more formidable against the White Walkers, because we know that dragon glass and fire is what kills them. And so once they was all, burning like a $2 hole, they decided it's time to rush into battle. Now, this was kind of stupid to me in a way, but that's the way the Dothraki fight. And once they went out there, they got wiped out. And so pretty much the army of the dead came charging towards those Unsullied that was standing at attention. I don't know why they didn't continue to shoot those, those launchers and stuff they had, and slingshots with fire, but they stopped. And so once they saw all the Unsullied, all the Dothraki was dead, they should have cranked it back up. They were pretty much getting whooped real quick. Daenerys had to come through with the fire, blow some of that dragon breath on it with Jon to even the score. And it looked like this may not be that bad, although it was looking pretty bad. Arya told Sansa to go in there and take this weapon and go into the crypts, stick them with the pointy end. But when the long night came, that's what took the dragons out, because they were no longer able to see. And so that limited how much they could do. And so the ground battle was fierce. They're fighting death. You see zombies pretty much fighting. This scene right here, somebody feels that Sam saved Ed's life first, and then because Sam had to have his life saved and he couldn't get his fat ass up in time, he got Ed killed. I don't know if inadvertently he saved Ed's life, but nonetheless he did cost Ed his life by not getting up fast enough, and then he ran like a coward when he saw that White Walker face to face. So the Unsullied and everybody realized they was losing, so they started to retreat. They started to, do the formation so that as people was running away, they could be protected. Arya saved the Hound's life with a flaming arrow. He realized that she actually saved his ass. She really wasn't, that cold and hearted to him as she was playing off. And, they was moving in formation, backing up as they were fighting so that the men could be covered for the retreat. Now, Devos had tried to signal for them to burn the trench, but because of that snow, the long night that came, they couldn't see. And so Melisandre, they ended up escorting her so that she could burn the trench. And it really put her faith to the test, because while she was, sitting there praying, the walkers, were pretty close on her ass, and they was about to take a little bite out of her. But she kept her faith together, and it in the end paid off, because she was able to light the trench and pretty much surround the castle with fire, which allowed them to regroup for a second and get their, head together to see what their next move was. Because the Army of the Dead, nobody ever fought this type of battle before. They didn't know what to expect, how to deal with it, or whatever the case. But once inside, they realized they were going to still have to continue to fight. They started piling up on the walls like World War Z, climbed up in there. Arya, she turned out to be a hell of a fighter. And Clegane, once again, scared of fire. Little Mama Mormont, she tried to be hard or whatever, but that giant of all things had to come through the door. He wiped her away like a booger on your lips in the cold days. And so she was hurt, but she got up and she gave out a little roar like Ghost from Power, a little Thundercat. And when he grabbed her, he pretty much took her out. But before he finished squashing her and taking her out, she was able to take him down with her with that one last poke to the eye. And she was pretty much, it was sad. I know some people probably cried when she died because she, was a little girl still. Although she wanted to go out like a soldier and fight, it's still sad to see the good ones go. Meanwhile, the dragons weren't able to fight like they wanted to and help. So they had to go up top above the clouds to see what was going on. And when they were up there, they were attacked by the Night King riding his dragon. And so that was pretty cool little dragon battle. It was a 2-on-1. And they tried to make one dragon like a London Bridge. But in the end, they had knocked the Night King off. He ended up falling off the dragon. And that kind of saved them a little bit because he wasn't actually controlling them. Meanwhile, Arya, she had to go inside of Winterfell to try to escape death. And it was pretty close. She had one that almost got her. She had to kill him. She had some blood dripping. And they could hear the little drop of blood hitting the floor. And so she barely escaped out of the library with her life, and she had to run, and they were chasing the hell out of her, about to get a little snack. And that's when she ended up running into the Hound and Beric. And we see that Beric, he pretty much gave his life for Arya. He threw that sword that was burning to get the dude off of him, and then as they come, they cut his Achilles like Kobe. And so he wasn't able to run no more. And so then he basically sacrificed himself so that Arya could make it. And, we come to find out that was why the Lord of Light was keeping him alive all this time, is so that he could be used as a sacrifice so that Arya would be able to complete her job, her mission. And he was a warrior. He went out like a true soldier because he stopped them from getting to her, and he took a few daggers, like more than he ever had in all his fights before. And so one thing about this show that was good is that they didn't have a lot of corny last words. Once you was dead, you were dead. It wasn't too many last words of, always remember me in the North or anything to that extent. And when he was in there dying, she said, I remember you. And Melisandre said, I remember you. She said, yeah, you said I closed many eyes for good. She said, and that's been true. She said, yeah, brown eyes and also blue eyes. She went down the colors, and then she gave her the look like blue eyes. You would shut many blue eyes forever too. And then she said, what does the god of death say? And then she was like, not today. And then she remembered it's not her time yet. And blue eyes is the color of the White Walkers, not just blue eyes and some blue-eyed dude. And so that gave her an idea that, hey, maybe I'm not supposed to sit here and cry and die. Maybe I'm supposed to go ahead and shut many of these White Walker eyes forever. And so then we also saw, while they were in there discussing all of that, that's when the Ice King and the Night King, rather, he had fell off his bird, his dragon. And so he was pretty much grounded. Now, once they had saw that he fell, they tried to finish him off. John, he ended up having to get off of his dragon for a while. And so what it ended up doing was while he was there on the ground, he wanted to attack the Night King. And so she saw what was going on, and she wanted to give him some backup, some little aid and assistance. So she tried to roast the Night King with the dragon fire, and he didn't even move or anything. He just stood there and took it all. So him burning, that was nothing for him. And so she had to fly off because she realized that wasn't gonna work, and that dragon fire wasn't gonna be it. So John, he decided he was gonna go and take him out one-on-one, but he didn't realize that this dude could make them all rise like Malcolm X. And so once John got a little close, all he did was raise up all the bodies of all the soldiers that died in the battle today. And so now John had a whole fresh group, Unsullied, Northmen, Wildland, the Free Folk, all of those people now on the Night King side, just like that. And just when he thought it was a one-on-one and they was going to shoot the fair one, he realized, oh snap, now I'm surrounded. And so it looked like it was about to be it for old John Boy. I was like, when I was watching this, I was a little upset for John to be in that situation. We even saw Lil Mama wake up. Ed, he woke up Ed. He woke up the leader of the Dothraki. And it looked like that was going to be hard for them to overcome, especially when it seemed like they almost were done fighting the troops they had. And then what make it so bad, even in the crypts, they started to awaken. And so they didn't even have any weapons down there in the crypts to defend themselves, really. And they weren't prepared for that. That was the last thing they thought of. And so now they got to fight Ned Stark bones and all these other people's bones. And they wasn't expecting nobody to be a little boner down there. And so right before it was almost too late and they were going to take out Jon Snow, she came and fought for her baby. And she wasn't going to let him get her baby. But the bad part is after Daenerys started with the fire, for some reason she just decided to land there and wait for a while and let all of these whites jump on the dragon on Drogon. And he was covered like, ants at a hot dog at a picnic. And so he tried to shake him off or whatever and get him off, but she was basically on the ground with no weapon. And lo and behold, Ser Jorah came to save her. He was going to fight for his boot. And so he came and helped her. Jon inside the castle, he sees all his people fighting and need help. Brienne, Sam laying there giving nut shots to whites or whatever. And he wanted to help, but he knew that the bigger picture was to get that help to Bran. And so he was able to lock the gate, try to continue to fight. Theon and his crew was there trying to protect Bran as best they could till they even ran out of arrows. And then Theon was basically trying to, do whatever he could, kill one with a spear or whatever. But he didn't become a coward. He didn't start to turn into reek. And we saw Daenerys, she ended up picking up a weapon so that she could fight besides Ser Jorah. But it was looking pretty bad for them too. And so in the crypts, they were outnumbered, and the only thing they had was Sansa and Lil Man. Tyrion, she had the little knife that her sister gave her, and we see it wasn't the dagger that Bran gave her that was used to try to kill Bran, thanks to Littlefinger. And so she actually had a dragon glass dagger. And so it was looking kind of strange and looking like hopeless for some of them people inside the crypt. Jon couldn't make it to Bran in time because that dragon, White Walker dragon, was going haywire, blowing dragon breath all over the place. And Ser Jorah, he's steadily getting picked off, nicked at one piece at a time. And so he's compromised. Daenerys trying to help fight with him. Jon, he's pinned down. And Theon, he's down to the last man. And this whole time he was fighting, Bran has been inside the Three-Eyed Raven. And so now we see that the Night King and his crew has finally made it inside the bushes. into the gods would. And Theon know he in trouble. Jamie and everybody is all pretty much outnumbered. Sam is just sitting there crying in a puddle of his own making. And next thing you know, Bran, he clicks back in and he gives Theon the last bit of confidence and saying, Theon, you are a good man. You did good. Thank you. And so Theon knew right there that he kind of redeemed himself, because he didn't know, he wasn't sure if he was a Stark or a Greyjoy. He knew he should have been a Stark because of how well they treated him, and the Greyjoys didn't give a damn about him, but he knew he made those mistakes when he was younger. And so he felt redeemed. He knew he was going to die with his boots on, go out with courage. And so he went and tried to play a little poker and poke him with the last little javelin. But he had the dead man's hand. And so when he got closer, Night King just broke it in half and shoved it up his bunghole real quick. And he knew right then he done messed up. But at least he went out like a man. And no more of that crying and stuff, or left like how he left his sister. Meanwhile, Jon, he done got frustrated and was ready to give up. And right when the Night King was about to kill him, Arya came out of nowhere and tried to stab him, but he caught her. She dropped her dagger, caught it in the other hand, and destroyed him. And since he's the one that made everything, it was able to destroy them all and end the war. And so Arya actually is the one that saved the day. And all of those bodies piled up as far as the eye can see, just all around Winterfell. I mean, it turned into a graveyard. And man, that was a hell of a battle. So Jorah, he collapsed in his final moments. He did what he could and fought for the death, till his death for Khaleesi. And he always said he'd fight give up his life for her. And he did. And she cried hard, boy, when he died, boy. He been there with us since the very first episode of the season. And now, originally, he was there for her brother, but he ended up being there for her. And that was her oldest advisor, oldest friend. And we see everybody in the crypts that made it, and Gilly made it, and now all the people in the crypts with a name made it. A couple no-name folks didn't make it. And then we see Melisandre, and she went out and she took off her magical, chain, Rockaware chain. And once she took that off, we could see from a distance that she starts to break down as if her magic is off, and we could see that she was as old as she should have been and just passed out and died instantly. So it was a very good episode, very good. It was kind of dark episode, so it wasn't easy for me to make the video the way I normally do. But I hope this was pretty good and you guys enjoyed it. My opinions is I think this was the best episode as far as an action series ever made on TV. Yeah, it's other drama shows and other shows that may have been more interesting or better, but as far as fighting and action, this was unbelievable. And I don't think enough people died in this video, actually, but I guess they trying to spread it out so that we still got people left to kill in the next 3 episodes. In the end, I want to thank everybody for supporting me at patreon.com. You guys have been amazing as some fans of my work. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like, and I'll see you next video. Peace.